Welcome to a brand new Explainer. I am so thrilled you're joining us today because we're diving into something truly fascinating, and we're literally stepping into one of the most high-stakes pressure cooker environments you can imagine. Picture this. You're standing outside a heavy boardroom door. Your palms are sweating, your heart is just racing. On the other side of that door, a panel of seasoned aviation experts who hold the keys to your entire future. Today, we're unpacking a rare inside look at that exact room. It's a leaked 2018 interview preparation document made for aspiring pilots, and it gives us a raw, totally unfiltered look at what it really takes to survive the hot seat. Okay, let's dive into this. Just imagine the ultimate goal, sitting in the cockpit of a magnificent aircraft flying for Ethiopian Airlines. The prestige, the massive responsibility, the sheer thrill of commanding a modern jet. That's the ultimate prize, right? But standing between that dream and the captain's chair is a grueling evaluation. It's designed to break down your defenses, test your hard technical knowledge, and figure out exactly who you are when the pressure is really on. This explainer is going to walk you through exactly how to get to that seat. To navigate this gauntlet, we're using a very specific map. Our source material for today's explainer is a truly remarkable document from November 2018. It was put together by two successful Academy graduates, Ebenezer Solomon and Million Diemi. They actually survived this exact interview process and documented the whole thing to help the next wave of applicants. Their guide lays out 36 real, meticulously recorded questions, plus 10 vital insider tips for surviving the Ethiopian Airlines Aviation Academy interview. You guys, it is an absolute goldmine of intelligence. Here's our flight plan for this explainer. We're going to simulate the exact chronological flow of the interview from start to finish. 1. Welcome to the Academy. 2. The group discussion test. 3. Personal and behavioral questions. 4. Technical aviation knowledge. 5. Top tips for success. And 6. Preparing for takeoff. Let's jump in.
All right, Phase 1. Welcome to the Academy, where you've got to prove your baseline.
What's really fascinating here is just how fundamental, yet absolutely critical, these first questions are. You've just walked into the room, taken your seat, and boom. They immediately test if you've done your basic homework before they even think about trusting you with a multi-million-dollar aircraft. According to the document, they'll ask you to name the current and previous CEO. You need to know the airline's slogan, its vision, mission, and core values. You'll even be asked to explain the exact difference between Ethiopian Airlines and their aviation academy, plus any recent news about the company. It's a rapid-fire test of your dedication. I mean, if you stumble here on the easy stuff, you're basically signaling that you aren't taking this seriously at all.
Moving right along to Phase 2, the group discussion test. This is all about thinking on your feet. Once you've proven you actually know the company, the temperature in the room goes up. And this brilliantly illustrates the psychology of the interview, because this 10 to 15-minute exercise completely strips away all your rehearsed answers. You're thrown into a group discussion where you have to speak turn by turn on a totally random issue. We're talking vast topics here, like globalization, marriage, culture, sport, money, or e-learning. And the catch? You get exactly 1 minute, literally 60 seconds to prepare your thoughts in your head before you have to speak out loud. The authors make a great point here. There are no right or wrong answers. The panel isn't grading your personal take on globalization. They are testing your readiness, your clarity of thought, and your ability to command a room with zero notice. Next up, Phase 3, personal and behavioral questions, or as I like to call it, the cultural fit. So, you've survived the group test. Now, the spotlight swings directly back to you. The panel isn't looking at your resume anymore. They are digging into your psyche, your history, and your true motivations. Just listen to this question. Is a pilot a risk taker or a risk avoider? Just pause and think about the intense silence in the room after that gets asked. It's a brilliant high-stakes trap, right? Because if you say risk taker, do you sound reckless? But if you say risk avoider, do you sound too timid to handle an emergency? This single question tests your entire grasp of calculated aviation safety. And the hot seat just keeps getting hotter with a rapid barrage of behavioral probes. The source document lists questions like, tell us about a stressful moment in your life and how you solved it, or have you ever had a conflict with an instructor? How did you solve it? They'll ask about your biggest life accomplishments, but then, bam, immediately follow up by asking about something you failed to accomplish. Why? Because they are aggressively probing for your conflict resolution skills, your honesty, and how you handle failure. Because let's face it, up in the air, hiding a mistake can be fatal. Now, you can take a breath, because our authors offer some absolute gold to help you survive this, especially for that dreaded, what is your greatest weakness question? This strategy is brilliant. A bad weakness is anything that relates to the actual job requirements of being a pilot. A good weakness to offer, according to Ebenezer and Millian, is something completely unrelated, like poor handwriting. I mean, we're used to doctors having bad handwriting, maybe pilots can too, right? You offer this minor weakness so you don't come off as arrogant, but, and this is crucial, you have to immediately add that you are actively working to improve it. It's the perfect strategic pivot.
All right, Phase 4, technical aviation knowledge. We are getting into the physics of flight. Take another deep breath because we are now entering the most rigorous part of the interview. The behavioral pleasantries, they're totally over. The focus shifts entirely to hard aviation science and the unforgiving laws of physics. How does an airplane fly? This massive, incredibly intimidating question flashes right before you. Now, that might sound simple to an everyday passenger, but to a prospective pilot, this is the great separator. You cannot bluff your way through aerodynamics. You either understand the mechanics of lift, thrust, drag, and weight, or you don't. It immediately separates the truly prepared applicants from the tourists. From there, the technical questions hit you in a fast, rapid-fire cadence. Based strictly on the document, you're expected to define angle of attack. You need to name the parts of the airplane, the components of the engine, their specific functions, and the different types of jet engines. You have to explain the 4 forces exerted while a plane is flying and identify the 2 main ones out of those. They'll ask you to explain exactly how a plane lands. And then perhaps the most critical technical question of all, what does it mean by the term safety? The sheer volume of mechanical knowledge demanded here is just staggering, and you have to recall it instantly, under extreme pressure. Moving to Phase 5, top tips for success. This is your insider playbook. So how do you actually survive the gauntlet we've just simulated? Well, our authors didn't just leak the questions, they actually provided a list of vital do's and don'ts that essentially serve as cheat codes. So the crucial point is how you present yourself, both physically and verbally. The document explicitly advises, listen to the questions asked and answer only those questions directly first. You can elaborate later, but never give just a short, one-word answer. Say thanks when you start, tell the truth as much as possible. Maintain eye contact with all the interviewers, use a loud, clear voice, sit up straight, and keep your face composed. Interestingly, they highly stress listening carefully so you never have to say pardon me or sorry during the interview. These are physical and verbal cues completely designed to project absolute confidence. But of all the tips in there, I found this specific quote to be a strategic masterpiece. While you are answering, try to lead the answer about something you know and confident to answer. Think about that. They are telling applicants that they don't have to be passive victims in this interview room. You can actually take control of the narrative. By subtly guiding your elaboration toward your specific areas of strength, you can effectively steer the panel's next question. It is just brilliant advice for maintaining command under fire. Finally, Phase 6, preparing for takeoff, the final verdict. We finally reached the end of our simulated interview day. The questions have been asked, your technical knowledge has been tested, and you've navigated all those behavioral traps. The panel looks at you one last time before delivering their final verdict. But before you walk out that door, they drop question 36 from our source document right onto you. If you don't pass this interview, what will you do? Wow. It's a final, stunning test of your resilience and your contingency planning. Will you crumble? Will you just give up? Or do you have the grit to go back and try again? It's a question that forces you to confront failure head-on. So, as you ponder how you would answer that final challenge, I really want to thank you for joining this explainer today. We've decoded the hot seat together, but the ultimate journey? That's yours. Keep learning, stay focused, and I'll see you next time.